it was just her the whole time, but that was just a version of herself that was super, super obsessed with him, and she didn't like that version, and she felt like out of control. Hey guys, get ready with me while I talk about my favorite horror movie of this year so far, Obsession. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it. This video is gonna have spoilers. I have so much to say, so much to talk about. I hate watching trailers. I love to go into movies completely blind, or blind more or less. The only things I check before going into movies is the genre, the movie genre, and then the Rotten Tomatoes if I'm deciding between movies. So far, Obsession has really, really amazing reviews. So the movie starts out with a main character, and his name is Bear, and he is in a diner, and basically he's talking to his friend and a waitress, and he's trying to practice confessing his love to this girl named Nikki. It's like a friend group of 4 people. It's Bear, the main character, Nikki, the other main character, and then their 2 friends, Ian and Sarah. So it's a group of 4, and they all work at like a video game shop or like a camera store together. And yeah, so basically Bear, the main character, has feelings for Nikki, the one of the girls in the friend group, and he's trying to muster up the courage to basically confess that he likes her. Yeah, so he's practicing in the diner, and then when he gets home, after like hanging out with his friend, his cat got into his medicine cabinet, and the cat died on the pills. And this is foreshadowing to what's going to happen in the future. The girl that he likes, Nikki, calls him up and is like, oh, like, hey, are you going to come out tonight? Like, are you going to come to the game night? Like, we need you. And he, at first, really didn't want to go. She tells him that she's going to quit her job. She's like, life's too short. I'm going to quit my job. And then in that moment, he's like, you're right. Life's too short. I need to ask this girl out now. So he ends up going out to this bar where him and all his friends are meeting, and I guess they do games there. I can't even remember if they were doing games. At this bar, there's so many moments where he's trying to ask her out, or trying to tell her about his feelings for her, but his other guy friend always just keeps interrupting him. And from the beginning, I knew that was off. I knew something was going on with his friend and Nikki, the girl he liked. I just knew it, because he was like, no, like, now's not a good time. Like, don't tell her now. And he would just like come and interrupt. And I feel like if you were a really good friend, you would give them some space. You'd give your friend some space to go ask out, or to go, like, you know, confess his feelings to the girl he loves. I forgot to mention a super important detail. On that phone call where she was telling him to come out, she told him that she lost her charm necklace, and she was really sad about it because, yeah. And of course, what does he do? Because he's obsessed with her, he loves her secretly. He goes to a store and tries to get a replacement necklace, but instead he comes upon this little fun, kind of like gimmicky thing called a one-wish willow. And basically it's a little tree bark, it's a little tree branch, and if you snap it and make a wish, your wish will come true. And he couldn't find any charm necklaces for her, so he ends up just getting that for her instead. And so anyway, so the night goes by, and then she's like really drunk or whatever, and tired and whatever, so she needs a ride home. And she asks him for a ride home, and he's like, yeah, sure, I can give you a ride home. He gives her a ride home, and then he's like sitting in the car, mustering up the courage to tell her that he likes her, confess his feelings, but he just never gets to it. And then she's kind of like sensing this awkwardness between them, and she's like, what's up, right? And I feel like as a girl, you can like sometimes kind of know when a guy's interested in you. So I feel like she clocked it, and she was like, she went back, she was outside, standing outside the car, looking into the window, and she's like, do you like me? Just tell me right now if you like me. Like, this is your one and only chance. And he was just like, no, like, no. This idiot. I was like, you had your moment. But he was like, no, like, I like us as friends. But I guess at the same time, he knew, like, the tone of how she said it. Her realizing that, like, another guy that likes me, and he just doesn't want to be my friend. Like, he's not just a friend. Then she walks away. And then, of course, what does he do? This part was a little, like, funny. or like a little cliche, as he like reaches in his backpack because he forgot to give it to her, and he's like, oh, and then he just cracks it. And of course, what does he wish for? He's like, I wish Nikki was obsessed with me. A couple seconds later, this girl walks back to the car and she's like, like, can we hang out still? Like, can you come in? And then he's like, what? No, like, you're drunk, like, go home. And then she's like, oh, like, she doesn't want to like leave the night without him. And as a girl, like, I know the feeling. Like, is that just me? Does anyone else like know that feeling of like being with someone and the night's ended and you just like don't want to go home? Like, you just want to like stay with them. But then what she says is like, no, like, please, like, I can't stay home tonight. Like, my dad just died. And I was like, oh my gosh, that wasn't even a good lie. Okay, so preface on this whole thing, I think that this entity, so the whole time in the movie, I'm thinking she's possessed because she switched like that. So I'm thinking she's possessed. And I'm like, this entity has got to be like the stupidest entity on the planet. Because she's not good at faking being Nikki, or faking being a person in general, because I feel like a common sense person wouldn't have gone to those measures. Like, there's other ways she could have convinced him to hang out with her. And the thing is, she's not even close with her dad. Like, yeah, so at this point, like, he takes her home to his house and they hang out, and like inside, like, you know, all his like fantasies are coming true. It's like, this girl wants to be with me. Like, they get to doing some stuff. Like, they kiss, I think, they make out. There's like moments throughout the night where she pulls back and she realizes she's like on top of him and like making out with him, and she screams and she's scared. That whole night got covered up basically by her coming to him and saying like, sorry, like, I was on drugs last night, like, you know. And then he was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why you're acting so weird. So she apologizes. And then, okay, back to this point, I'm like, okay, so the entity is not all stupid. Okay, now she's making it seem believable. After this, it like does a little cute montage of like their whole relationship together, and it's so cute and quaint. And then their friends are like kind of hating because the girl in the friend group low-key likes Bear, the main character, and as I mentioned, as I knew, I predicted from the very beginning, the other guy friend was hooking up with Nikki. They were hinting at it because after work, because they all worked at the camera store, as I mentioned, it was like the guy friend would always bring Nikki home, and the guy friend and Bear lived really close, because at one point he was like, hey man, can you give me a ride home? He's like, yeah, like, we basically live like right beside each other. So it was like, if they live so close, why is the one guy always only bringing Nikki home? So that's kind of like hinting also towards that, like, their hidden relationship or whatever. And I feel like that guy was kind of like jealous just a little bit, right? Or else he would have, or I don't know, like, I don't know why he didn't just tell his friend that he was hooking up with this girl that he liked. But anyways, whatever. So then back to the main storyline. This girl, Nikki, now that I'm thinking she's possessed, but apparently the director, he was like, no, she wasn't possessed. That was just Nikki. And which contradicted everything that was happening, because it was like, at moments in the movie when they were together, Nikki and Bear were together, she would like break character. And then she would like, Nikki would scream and be like, help me, like, I'm not me. But then she wasn't possessed, so like, did she have like an alter ego that was obsessed with him? That's a possibility. Or actually, wait, I kind of like it, like the idea that it was just her the whole time, but that was just a version of herself that was super, super obsessed with him, and she didn't like that version. And she felt like out of control. Because I feel like in relationships a lot of the time, you can feel like out of control and not in control of yourself, and you do stuff that you personally would have never done, and you're like, oh my gosh, this like relationship is driving me crazy, like I'm being a crazy person. So I kind of like the idea that it was just her the whole time. By this point in the movie, this girl was like doing a memorial for his dead cat in the middle of the kitchen. Okay, and then she cooked the cat, or I don't even think she cooked the cat. She just cut up the cat and put it in his sandwich for lunch. She literally stood in the same spot all night or all day waiting on this guy, Bear, to come back home because she didn't want to move she just stood there waiting for him, and then like peed and defecated on herself. Is that the word? It's her extreme in love. Like, that's an extreme side of love, but not like actual literal love. But does that make sense? It's like an exaggerated form of love, because I feel like those are like everyday sayings, like not everyday sayings, but in relationships, like you're waiting on him to get home all day, and she's literally waiting on him to get home all day. Or like, she's so crazy she would kill for him. She literally killed for him. You know what I mean? So I kind of like that they did that, or I really like that they did that. Moving on, yeah, she's being really weird. She's having moments where she's like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? Like, this is not me. Like, I'm not Nikki. And she would say that, and then she would try to like kill herself, basically. Crazy in love, like, I would die for you. She's trying to die. She's trying to kill herself. I loved how it wasn't like gory scary, but her facial expressions and just her little subtle movements really did wonders. And yeah, everything just came together really nicely, and it was like really creepy. A lot of people can probably relate to being in a relationship and experiencing obsessive feelings maybe towards that person. Or if you've been on the other side of that, maybe you can relate to Bear, the guy, right? Because this girl's acting crazy, saying she's gonna kill herself if he leaves her. These are real things that happen in real relationships. People do threaten to kill themselves in relationships. So it's like a horror twist on what people actually kind of go through, like an extreme version of what some people go through in relationships. This girl keeps breaking character. Nikki keeps breaking character and saying like, I'm not me. And she like wrote it in his lunchbox, circled a picture of herself and said, not me. So obviously at this point he's like, okay, well, that One Wish Willow definitely worked, and she's obsessed with me now. Like, this is my fault. I'm like, who's more obsessed, her or him? Him, because she's literally out here killing people. He killed the best friend because they were caught together in the car late at night just talking as friends, and she didn't like that, so she killed her. Okay, and she started doing like crazy stuff. She ended up killing the other friend too, the other guy friend too. But at one point in the movie where it's getting a lot, like her behavior is becoming like super unmanageable. Like, she duct taped the front door closed so he couldn't even leave the house. But he left anyways because he had to work. But he realizes, like, okay, like, she's really, like, way too obsessed with me. He even finds out that her dad lied about being, like, dying, obviously, because that was fake. And he was just like, okay, like, I don't care, basically. Like, he loved that she was obsessed with him, but there was just, like, small things he wanted to tweak. So he, like, calls up the number on the One Wish Willow box to contact customer support, basically, and it's like, hey, like, so, like, it works. And the guy on the other line's like, yeah, basically. And he says something along the lines of, yeah, it's good, but she's having these, like, crash outs where she just is, like, Briggs' character, and then she doesn't seem like Nikki anymore. And the guy's basically like, yeah, like, there's nothing you can do. And he was willing to, like, essentially he was trying to find a solution to keep his wish, just change his wish a little bit. So she was less obsessive over him, that she was more normal. But the fact that he didn't just straight up wanted to cancel the wish from the very beginning says a lot about him. He was, like, obsessed with her, is what I'm saying. That's, like, knowing that it's not actually, like, her, what she wants, is, like, kind of messed up. Anyways, right? Why would you want to be with somebody that doesn't really want to be with you? At this point, stuff's getting crazy. That's basically what happened the whole movie. The whole setting basically took place in his apartment for the most part, and then the camera store where they worked at. Yeah, it was just, like, creepy and eerie, and you kind of, like, related to it in a weird way. And at the end, he has enough and all his friends are dead. He's like, okay, like what do I do now? The only way that he could break the curse or break her obsession over him was that he had to kill himself, and then her obsession would stop. So he was trying to get another One Wish Willow. He got another One Wish Willow, and he wanted her to make the wish to say that they never met. But obviously, I don't know why he thought she was going to do that, because she at this point would do anything and everything to stay with him, not to break apart from him. So I don't know what he was thinking with that. He tried to give a One Wish Willow to his friend, and to make the same wish that him and Nikki never met, like Bear and Nikki never met. But then the friend thought it was a joke and just wished for $1 billion, and then got $1 billion, and then yeah, he died. I don't know why he didn't just ask a stranger. That's what I would have done. But hey, so he like went back to his apartment, had the One Wish Willow. He starts crashing out, goes in the bathroom, and then takes up the pills and then swallows all the pills. And while he's in the bathroom, she made a One Wish Willow herself. She made a little wish herself, and she wished that he would be obsessed with her. So he comes out of the bathroom and he's like, oh my God, I love you so much, like so high in love. And then he goes to like kiss her, and then he dies, obviously because he like swallowed all those pills. And it was so funny. This guy was about to like chicken out. He was about to throw all these pills up because he was like I can't kill myself. Like he's a little coward. But because she made the wish, she like snapped out, which doesn't make sense, because wouldn't the alter ego version of himself be so obsessed with her, he would know that he needs to live, so then he would continue to throw up the pills? I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, and then and then he dies. All her friends are dead, and then she breaks from the trance and she's like freaking out, like what the heck's happening? That was basically the whole movie. The cinematics, the aesthetic, the emotions in the movie were really great. I think the only thing that was lacking, like the 5% missing from the 95, I think was just slight plot elements that didn't always make sense together. But other than that, it was so good. I loved it. And if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend watching it with whoever. Or if you have a partner, watch it with them. And that was a recap of the Obsession movie and all the hidden details that you might have missed. And my interpretation of what happened. What the heck happened? Was she possessed? Was it her? Did she love him? Did she not? Did he love her? Okay. Bye, guys.